What's going on, world? Your man, Mr. Mac.
And I'm Crystal Leven.
This is the M+M+M show, aka the
Okay.
show coming to you live and direct with true words of inspiration that are not just words, but also actions. And we're getting both directly from the horse's mouth. He's not a horse, he's a man. His name is, I don't want to insult anybody, not this early in the day, but I'm going to let him break the rest down. Homie, could you please state your name so people know I'm not lying?
What's up? What's up? Eric Patrick Thomas, aka Mr. Inspire, talking from Flint, Michigan. Happy to be here.
Absolutely. Welcome to the show.
Yes, thank you.
I've actually heard of your brand before I knew about you. It was really cool to read your bio today.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, that's inspiring, to use the word. It's a bit cliche, but is it cliche? Is it cliche if people use like the same words to describe you? Because your story is very specific and you work on motivating and inspiring and equality and disability awareness and like those things are very specific. Is it cliche if people use the same words to describe you or your story?
Let them, if they want to use that word, that's perfect. That's how the brand came about. Every time I would tell my story, they would just say, oh, that inspire, or they would use that word inspire. So it just kind of carried, it traveled with me. And then when I had my business and I had my t-shirt shop, and I was like, I'm going to start wearing it on my shirt when I go speak. It's going to be there. And then I started seeing the effect that it took on people, like how it changed people, like how they want to be better or be best or something. And I was just like, we guys got to make this public. And that's exactly how the brand really started. The people made it happen.
I was going to say, so you inspire people to be better at whatever they do. How do you, what do you think is the part of the story that does that makes people want to do better? Because there's just surviving is hard enough sometimes in this crazy world. But what part of your story do you think makes people just, want to step up?
I think there's different parts. I mean, when I talk about like it takes 3 hours for me to get ready, from bed to wheelchair, and then just being ready to go after my goal or, go after my dreams every single day. Like wake up and appreciate and gratitude that I'm living again, that I have life and I'm living no matter what the circumstances are. I think that's definitely something. And some of the challenges, there's like accessibility. When I get on a plane, it just doesn't get on a plane. I got to get transferred, lifted into this aisle chair and then to the aisle chair to the airplane seat. It's the process, it's the different challenges like that. And then just being able, another thing, whoever shot me, I don't know who shot me or, who it was one person or two people. But when I was in rehab, I was asked if I could get forgiveness, and forgiveness was given. And I was able to, cut that cord to that anchor in this sail, my ship sail. And I was able to focus and work on myself. And actually, the world opened up for me, a lot of things. I mean, I wasn't able to breathe on my own at that time. And then, months later, then the ventilator came out and I didn't have to rely on a machine. So there's those different things. And how have I handled it since? My attitude, my perseverance, my resilience. And those are things that stand out to a person because they usually go, what am I doing? Or why am I scared to start a business? Or why am I scared to go here? I should just go for it and stop letting fear stop me, or stop saying I can't too.
Well, yeah, it strikes me that it sucks that it's human nature, but we do tend to take things for granted when we have them and when they're easy. So just by comparison, we realize when we hear a story like yours and like see all the, forgive my language, all the shit you've been through, and that you're still like a positive person, and that even doing basic things that we do every day are like harder, but you still do them with a good attitude. I think a lot of people just walk around fully able-bodied with a bad attitude.
Yeah.
So
those are the people we got to touch.
Yeah.
Eric, I gotta tell you, man, I read the bio, I went all through your story. There's only but so much I can relate as an able-bodied person. You know what I mean? I can't identify with a good chunk of your struggle. It just blows me away that you're able to do everything you do. Like Crystal said, so I put myself in the shoes that I felt I could. and you just touched on it, which was the forgiveness aspect. I don't know if I could do that. I'm really trying to figure out how you pulled that one off specifically. That's maybe the closest I can get to being in your shoes at all. Is, I've been done dirty by people who, forgiving them took, I'm still not sure if we're all the way, and it's nothing compared to what you've been through. And the fact that you were able to forgive the one or two people, it just blows my mind. I'd like for you to speak on that, because I need some insight on that myself.
I'm actually curious, but just to piggyback on that, the definition of forgive to you, just to piggyback on that, I want to understand what that meant to you, like the definition of the word. So keep going.
Two parts to that great question. I mean, one is, my upbringing and being raised, I've had faith no matter what, so faith is one. But two, any type of unforgiveness is mental weight that you're not feeling. You don't realize that it's causing sickness, it's causing mental anguish, it's causing you to not achieve and not to keep your vehicle keep going. You don't realize it. And if you could take what people do to you and you could put it into weight, you would be like, it's so heavy, I'm not even able to breathe right now. Like the weight of the world is on your back. That's why I say, when you cut that, and the forgiveness means you are forgiven. That means, like, if I am across from you and we meet up one day, I'm not going to ask you why you did the shooting, because unless it's time for me to know. But I'm also going to say, I don't understand your upbringing. I don't know if you were hurting. I don't know if you were on drugs. I don't know those situations. I don't know if you were abused. I don't know if you meant to even kill me or just scare me. I don't know those things. But I do know this is what I've done since you shot me. And then I would talk about that and say, and I wish, the best for you. I hope that whatever it is, you find your path, or, and you don't do it. I don't want them to do it to other people, of course that, but and then I would, roll away from that, just that's what's forgiveness. You cannot forgive, and then while you're living this journey, this life, sit there and be bitter and talk about the person that did it. I can talk about the situation that happened, but forgiveness is given. It is done. It's done. And
I read some. Go ahead.
And all that weight, and like I said, say it's an anchor, and you got your boat, that you cut that, and that's it. You're sailing. And it's also self-healing to yourself. That's where you can focus on yourself, because that situation will never, ever stop me from what happened. Never affect me again. In fact, the one thing that maybe it was harder to forget was the police investigation, because the detective didn't do anything. They just wrote it off. Like, that's what comes with the territory. That was hard. That it wasn't I was angry or bitter on it. It's just I was like, why are you not doing anything? What's going on? And so, but that's it. Yeah, forgiveness that's given. Like, when I wake up, I want to wake up with the forgiveness of in my soul and my spirit and my heart. So if I have an argument with someone, before I go to sleep, I want to make sure to let them know, that I still love them when I wake up, whether we disagree or agree.
I mean, that's one of the best advices that I've ever heard of, for relationships, is not to go to bed angry. And I think, but we all have relationships, whether it's romantic or platonic or business, we relate to people, right? So like going to bed angry or holding on to grudges is just like not going to help anybody. You kind of shoot, not to be pun intended, not shoot yourself in the foot. Wow, I was just gonna. Anyway, sorry, don't shake your head at me, Mac. What I was also gonna say, psychologist, he laughs at me all the time. A psychologist I was watching, like, Instagram is the greatest place to learn anything these days, or to be inspired or to go down the wrong road. but if you look at the right things, you can be super inspired. And this one was talking about the type of stress that people are having because of the COVID pandemic, and our frustration at not being able to move around freely. Like just that, the idea that we feel constantly frustrated is sort of the great equalizer right now. Like that everyone is dealing with the same type of stress, and that is, like you said, about the weight on the shoulders. Like this, it's like a heavy actual weight. It's on your shoulders, it's in your brain. So until you can like wrap your mind around it and let it go, you're just every day, it's like, I need to make coffee and I don't have a job. I need to make my bed and I don't know when I'm going to get another paycheck. So all that's constantly going on in your head. It's like not forgiving. It's like, I got to make coffee and that guy shot me. Da 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 da. And da, da, da. It's constantly like a reel until you let it go. So that's the way that he described it. Sort of
Yeah.
hit home when you said that. Yeah, you can just move on freely. So what do you do like daily? What's your daily like routine, and how has it changed this year because of the craziness?
How's it changed? Well, it's been changed the last 3 years. So I was
Okay.
ahead of the pandemic. Unfortunately, with complications of my spinal cord injury, March 1st, 2018, a hole opened up in my body, in my coccyx area. So that's like where your tailbone is. Because I have a spinal
Wow.
cord injury, it was treated as a pressure wound.
Okay.
So I was on bed rest right away, but actually it was a bone infection. And we didn't even know it until like a year later. So I already spent like,
Jeez.
what, 500 something, 400 plus days in bed or something like that. And then
Whew.
also like, because I was on bed rest, June 11th, 2018, my O2 level, my oxygen level went down to 40. So was rushed to the hospital. I was intubated again. So I had tubes in my throat, a feeding tube, and I had to communicate with a toothbrush, like on a bingo card, telling them what, and then good thing I had my circle of supports that were there to advocate for me because,
Wow.
I wasn't able to speak. So I was on that for like 15 days. And then I came home July 6th on my birthday. So that was good. But then I had to recover from the wound in my body, the hole.
Right.
We're talking like a $50 size hole, And so now I'm on bed rest. At the same time, I'm fundraising for my wheelchair accessible van. Then I reached out to Damon in August of 2018. I'm like, can you tell me can you look it over the campaign? Tell me what else I can do. Then that's where George and Sherry jumped on. And then George and I worked back and forth, the whole time, all the way to December 20th of 2019 when I got the van. But 2019, I'm still on bed rest. Now the wound care center have tried experimental treatments. I've been sizzled like a steak, you name it. And then they just give up. They just give you that parting hug. This is all, I've never seen where you go to a medical place. I've seen it in movies, and I was able to feel what that feels like, where they say we've done everything we can do. And then
Wow.
I got a second opinion, Dr. Bruce Rubin. He got me in the next day. He looked at the wound. He said, I don't know how to tell you this. That's not a pressure wound. That's an exit wound. That's a bone infection. And I was like, okay. So he took cultures and things like that, blood tests, and then a week later, I was on antibiotics for 9 weeks. Strong antibiotics, strong. And let me tell you, when you're still on bed rest and on antibiotics, your body goes through a lot of stuff. I mean, it is horrible, horrible. But
Sure. One round
then,
of antibiotics is tough.
then I was healed. We're like, I'm healed. It's all closed up. So I'm back up in my chair for 3 weeks. Like, yeah, man, I'm back mobile. It's all good. I'm back at the shop. And then a little spot opens up in a different spot. We monitor it, and then the skin drops out and a new hole shows up. I go back to him. He looks at it. He said, I don't know how to tell you this. You relapse. We got to do another eight weeks of antibiotics. So I did a total of 17 weeks of antibiotics. So right before I got the van, like December 20th, 2019, that hole closed up. And I'm like, got the van, back mobile, healed. 2020 is going to be the year. Pandemic hit.
Oh my God.
Pandemic hit. Now remember, all this stuff on TV, physical distance, wash your hands, don't get close to people. If my face itches, someone's got to touch me. You know what I mean? So people got to brush my teeth, wash me, bathe me, dress me, everything. So there's no distancing. So it's like, what do? Not to mention
Right.
I'm not able to wear a mask because I drive the wheelchair with the straw.
Oh
So I'm
man,
really hit.
okay.
So
Yeah.
I'm really hit. So I got this face shield when I go to the doctors. Other than that, I don't go anywhere. So I left my house and moved in with my caregiver temporarily. And then the rest of my staff stayed home, stayed safe with their families. We shut down the business. The business was shut down from mid-March to the end of July. I come home July 26th. Now remember, I'm healed. Everything's good. I'm healed. I'm not able to go anywhere, but I'm healed. And I got the new van. Still not able to go nowhere, but it's all
Got a
good.
van that doesn't go anywhere.
So I'm home.
Damn.
I come home July 26th. Here it is, July 28th. Actually, yesterday, 22 weeks from yesterday. Caregiver goes to wash my booty. What do you want me to do with this hole? What are you talking about? Yeah. I was like, I thought it was a pimple that busted or something. I was like playing it down. When she transferred me, because I get in this sling, kind of like when you see like animals get like in a sling, like transfer. It's called a Hoyer lift. I'm up in the air and I'm looking at the sheet like this, and it looked like a Dexter. It looked like a crime scene. And I said, oh man, I said, oh no. And I knew it was serious. So my caregiver that came in later on that evening, we put me back in the bed, rolled me over and said, that spot, it opened up. It just blew open like a volcano. So
Was it same spot or a new spot?
The same spot, the second, the second one. Yeah. The one that healed the second time. So then I was like, oh my gosh, like I wasn't even expecting this. Here I'm trying to open my business again. I'm trying to get my caregivers back on schedule. Did not have this in the plan. And I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? So I called the doctor and I let him know. We sent him pictures. He's like, you can go on antibiotics again. You can do IV antibiotics this time, or you could do nothing, and I said, you know what? I'm going to stop drinking everything except just distilled water. I drink coffee every morning or whatever it is. I'm just going to drink water and I'm going to see if that can heal me. And pray and drink water and eat, eat food. Then take away sugar too, like as much as possible. So no sweets and stuff like that. So there's proteins, vegetables, things like that. And then and fruit, that's my sugar. And then we just started going back into the process, and I went back on bed rest, and I just got off like a couple weeks ago. So I spent another 18 and a half weeks of bed rest. The only time I got up was to go to the urologist. That was it, every 2 weeks. So total, it's like about 820 days, something like that, give or take 100 plus days of bed.
I can't wrap my mind around that many days.
Eric, how seriously, and you please be real with me on this, and please shoot from the hip. How much does it annoy you when people say they don't want to wear a mask?
Oh, it annoys me because it's saying that I don't respect you. Or I don't, as a person, like I
don't value your life.
Yeah, I don't value your life, like, or I don't value my elder life, or someone that like maybe they have a grandma or a grandpa, so they're out there wilding out, and then they go and visit grandma and grandpa, like, you know what I mean? Like, those are
selfish.
Some of the things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but I understand, like, it became political and all this other stuff, unfortunately. But I mean, a virus is, I mean, it is what it is. It doesn't, based on the people that's died or been in the hospital. I mean, I know people, my brother and his wife had COVID. Yeah, I mean, like, and his wife lost their smell and taste, the sense of smell and taste and stuff. One of my great friends, she had COVID, and she's still recovering from the effects of it. Of course, she's a nurse, so she's at the hospital. Right. So it is. I mean, the reason why, and masks aren't 100% effective. We know that. Right. But it's like,
well, neither are condoms, but people use them. Like,
right. But when they're in this household, they do wear masks. And instead of calling it mask, I always tell people that I got everyone. We're all playing parts. We're all looking like ninjas. Everybody wanted to be a ninja when they grew up. I know I used to wear a little ninja costume, walk around like I was stealthy and stuff. So I kind of changed it up a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it's a form of respect. because like the pulmonologist, and I went to the pulmonologist, he looked at me and he said, "You get this, you are done. You have no diaphragm. My cough is this, or it's not,
You can't
So
clear
if
your,
it's
yeah.
no, if it's respiratory, it's gonna
That's
be a
rough.
fight. I don't want to go, So
How do you,
I just don't go anywhere. I just
yeah.
stay home. I stay away. I don't have a lot of people. That way I just for now. I mean, like
Yeah.
until we figure this all out. I mean, I know it's almost a year now, but I just, and I understand if a person, if they're wearing the mask and it's like suffocate them or something, just figure out a way to, kind of, but just respect other people. Just have
Yeah.
respect for people in this country, in this community, in this country. Like, even if you
Right.
don't even believe it, at least show that you respect that person,
Right.
So
I have a question. This
yeah,
happened 23 years ago, right?
yeah, this is the
Um,
23 episode.
all
This is
right. Oh,
this
wow.
is it. We
This is
made it.
it.
Yeah, this
Oh,
is
because
it.
in the email you needed, or on your page, I thought I saw you needed 3 more, but this is the last one.
This
This is
is
the
it. No,
23rd.
Damon did one
Okay. Okay.
yesterday at 1:30, and then
Okay.
Dave Tolliver from Men at Large got me on last night.
I don't what
That's,
people aren't understanding, if in case you haven't read the
oh, yeah.
bio, his goal this year was to do 23 interviews
Yeah.
on
Right
him, and what he's
before
telling
the end of
us
2020.
right
Yeah.
before the end and what he's telling us is the M+M show is his number 23. So I'm going to stop the world. Crystal and I are going to do a quick golf clap. We brought this in. We're going to do a real quick golf clap. That's and I'm gonna flex just in case people are watching.
We
And
did
we're
that.
back. Now we're done.
We're
flex too.
very grateful for having. Yep.
Yeah, it is. All right, so we got a
Flex
three-way
on.
flex. Yeah, that was
Three-way
all
flex.
we needed. Yo, man,
Um,
I'm really honored that because you requested us. I'm really honored that you wanted us and that we wrapped this up for you. I'm really happy that we could, be a part of this.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
and there's also
I try to watch, when I can, and the YouTube video too. Plus, I like
that's actually
the interview that you did with Damon, the 2-parter. That was
yeah,
great.
no,
Yeah, that was
David's
dope.
a fun one. He's a fun guy to talk to. You are too. I actually have a question. What do you do with all your time? Because because walking in circles isn't an option. Like, we're all bored at home, or have been borderline bored at home. What do you watch? What do you listen to? What's your, like, how do you keep your mental from going stir crazy, I guess?
Well,
This
I
is
figured
23 years of this. So you've
yeah, well, what makes me happy? I mean, I get to focus on the brand. So coming up
Mhm.
with new design ideas and and promoting the brand and doing some of these shows, these interviews, being able to help other people, like when I get out there and share the story that helps a person, just one person, it's all worth it. I got, the her, the A word. So when she comes on, I'm listening to books on audio, or
Okay.
I'm like, yo, tell me a pun. I'll just I'll stay here for like a half hour. Tell me a pun. Then she'll tell me a pun. I'm like, oh man, that was good, or it wasn't good. Or I'll say, play some music or something like that. You can launch
Was
FUBU Radio right on here.
Mhm.
All you have to do is just, it'll launch. I think it says like, it'll say like iHeartRadio or something like that.
Mhm.
You know, um, reading. I get on the internet, so if I'm on the laptop, I'm
Mhm.
text messaging because I can do it all by voice. I type by my voice. This microphone right here is Dragon Naturally Speaking. So
Mhm.
I type. I'm checking my emails, and then I'm checking the numbers on the business, promoting the business and things like that.
Technology is incredible.
If it's TV, I'll probably get lost in South Park sometimes. It's just it is what it is.
Eric,
I
I
do
knew
like
I
South
liked
Park.
you. I knew before anything ever. I knew before the conversation happened. I knew you were a good soul. I read the bio, but I said there's something else in here. I like this guy. South Park, Eric, for Eric Cartman. I'm totally in here.
Oh
I
yeah,
knew I liked you. I knew it. I knew it was a
yeah.
thing. I was just waiting for it. I
My
knew I
cheesy
liked you,
puffs.
bro. See, look, and he's even got the impression popping. This is fantastic. Just that fast, I'm happier
Yes.
to be here. I'm totally happy to be here.
Snap.
That-
So
Oh wow.
sometimes what I'll do is I'm not a great singer, but I'll get on karaoke, and
Oh yeah.
I'll just go back to like the 80s or Or I'll be like, I'll take it back. I'll go like, you know what I want to listen to? I want to listen to Day to Day today. Or I want to listen to some Rap and Duke or some Boogie Night or some, or let's go back to the Sugar Hill Gang. Let's go back to what really sparked the LL Cool J, I'm bad. I mean, I can just remember listening to this in my Walkman. I had the Walkman radio where you had to flip the tape over to hit rewind because they had no rewind button. So you had to push forward, you had to push fast forward to rewind the tape. And I'm listening to LL Cool J and Run DMC and Beastie Boys and Tribe Called Quest and just KRS One. I just so many like there's so much music.
The classics is.
And because I'm 43 now, so my very first start of hip hop was when I was watching MTV. And it used to be all videos and rock and roll, and then this guy comes on Fab Five Freddy, and I'm like, whoa! And I'm a kid. I'm a kid. I'm like, look at this. That's Dr. Seuss. That's Mother Goose. That's nursery rhyming. Look at that. Look what they're doing. And I didn't understand like what was going on or where it was coming from, but it was different. And I have always fell in love with hip hop. That's why I started writing lyrics, and all the way up till I got shot. I mean, and then I performed on stage. I performed on stage 17 years later. Tell me if that's not a waiting around for your dream if you love it that much. I didn't perform 5 years later. 17 years later, I'm rolling up on the stage, and boom, I'm at the Novi, the Suburban Show Place in Michigan. Wow. The crowd's there, and I roll out on stage. It's the first time in 17 years where everybody said it wouldn't happen again. You'll never rap again. And obviously I'm not jumping on speakers and doing crowd control and all this stuff, but like I come out. I come out like I just never left. You know what I mean? In fact, I was so comfortable with the stage that I actually zoned out and was in my head and going like, you realize every word that you say, Eric, it's happening now, and I was like, yeah. And it was
that's self-aware.
Oh man, I'm a D-man. I just came out and I was like, I was like, how am I gonna like get the crowd going if I'm not able to move my arms and legs? And I was just like, and then I had the guy, the DJ and the guitar, and I was like, all right, let me explain. In life, it gets hard to maintain. A lot of things try to drive you insane, but I'm not going to sit and complain. I'm out here living my life, doing my best, proving it twice. So nice on the mic device, but sometimes you got to sacrifice. So don't count me out. I do exist. I'm here to help the world. I'm true to this. This whole journey is spiritual. Listen to Danny, be the miracle. Hope you didn't figure me being stopped by a spinal cord injury. Never saying I can't because I can. And if you want to know why, I'm a D-man. D-man. Music is my therapy. All around the world, it's all about the charity. D-man. And we started in the D-man. Nothing but integrity. This is Danny's legacy. I'm a D-man. Music is my therapy. All around the world, it's all about the charity. D-man. And we started in the D-man. Nothing but integrity. This is Danny's legacy. Yep, so come roll with me. I keep it real, that's how it's supposed to be. Hard puff, now I'm moving. Hard sip, backwards cruising. Yep, I'm not losing. Big business, no confusion. You can read the sign. Easy awareness by design. So if you got a catastrophic injury or developmental disability, not saying that it's meant to be, but it's not the end, so get with me. Eric Thomas, believe me, I know what the time is. Never saying I can't because I can. And if you want to know why, because I'm a D-man, D-man. Music is my therapy all around the world. It's all about the charity.
About the charity.
Yeah. So,
yo, okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Paralyzed diaphragm with bars better than most of the stuff that I'm hearing on the radio right now, and better breath control. I think you're missing your calling. I think the second you're ready to start putting pen to pad, you might want to pick up some Ghost Rider checks real quick that you might not have to fund that van through GoFundMe. There'll be a couple of vans out front, a couple of
we'll be able to get
Maybach
some vans
vans
for other
happening.
people.
Yeah,
hey,
no,
we'll be able to
dude.
get some bands from other folks,
Yeah,
other people that are trying to fundraise for a band.
yeah,
Get
no,
them
I
on
think you need to
Kobo.
sell those lyrics, Eric. I think you're shortchanging yourself. I think the bars need to be on sale.
I sent you a couple songs. Did you see them? Did you?
I listen.
I
I listen.
yeah,
I
Oh
listen to
yeah.
them.
I'm saying like
It's catchy. You're good. What he's saying is you should sell your bars because other like like the
people
upwardly
suck, Eric,
mobile
because people suck.
so
Because there are a
people
lot of
need the
people who
bars.
suck.
People need the bars, and they would go
They could
make you
use your
money
help. They
while
suck.
you wait.
She's
You just let the
saying
checks
it the
roll in.
polite way. She's saying it the polite way, and I'm not. There are a lot of people out there could really use your help, inspiration wise and lyric wise, because they suck compared to what you just did. So that's what I'm saying.
Thank you,
Also,
man.
we talked a lot about like subject matter, and also like old school versus current. And there's in some ways, we've advanced. I'm glad that we're living in this century, not the last, for various reasons. But some things have devolved, and I think that one of those things is that goes back and forth. Like hip hop itself, music itself, sometimes comes really fun lyrics, and then it goes back to celebrating the bullshit, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes really really negative crap, like really derogatory, just sort of evil thought patterns that I don't think are helping anybody. And then sometimes we come back with like save the world and some good things. And I think that your lyrics, while being fun and a little cheeky, like roll back with it, like tongue in cheek, if you will. They're clever, but they're also like positive. Like you can actually any age group, like from young to grown folks could understand them and get the connotations and shit.
Yeah, especially beat my belly like a bongo. That was just a
beat my belly like a bongo, which is really cute.
that just turned up because we were sitting there eating food. It was a Taco Tuesday actually, so and Jesse, I'm all about Taco Tuesday, and she was brushing my stomach, and it sounded hollow, and I was like, beat my belly. I'm like, beat my belly. And then that week, my boy Bangtown calls me up and says, "Yo, E, like I got time to bring the studio, bring the equipment over. You want to record?" So when he came, I was like, "Yeah, man, this is Bangtown. Bangtown is who you want to work with, man." Like I was so excited. And then he was like, "What do you want? Do you have a song?" And I was like, "Well, this is what's in my head. Beat my belly like a bongo." He was like, "All right, man." He's very open. He's like, "Let's roll with it." So I told him how it sounds in my head. And that's where he's like, and starts making that. I'm like, yeah. Then I didn't have any lyrics. So he just had the microphone. So I was like, my belly, feeling empty, search for the music, good and plenty. Then I was like, okay. And then we stopped. And then I was like, all right, let me do it again. So I'm writing in my head. So I'm like, my belly, feeling empty, search for the music, good and plenty, revving up. Are you ready? Sip and puff. I'm rolling heavy. My ride, wheelchair ready. It's a Chevy, mozzarella. Happy days, Fonzarelli, feeling like my birthday, funfetti. And I was like, oh. I was like, man, and you know what it ended up turning into? I was looking for inspiration. So I started talking about feed my belly, feed me some inspiration. I need some I need some inspiration. So I talked about all the things of the past. So then when it comes to the second lyrics, it's it's like be my belly like a bongo, my belly, my belly, my belly. Call me the music man, 76 trombones and a boys band. Here's the plan. Oh yeah, Sugar Hill and my Kool-Aid man. Transform superhuman, macho man. SpaghettiOs, macaroni and cheese. Run DMC and the boys get beastie. Trained in the basement, it was gritty. Beat street, rap city. Bring it back to like TV raps. Where it's like psych and where it's like psych and who's the Mac? Bob Ross, you hear me, man? We need some happy trees in the Flint land. So
Not Bob Ross.
Trees. Yo, happy trees,
Bob
bro.
Ross.
Bob Ross.
Not Bob Ross.
Saturday.
Oh, man.
You don't know how many times I try to paint by Bob Ross. I'm watching Bob Ross on Saturday morning before wrestling, before WWF. And he's just out there and he's got this little chipmunk in his pocket. He's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I was looking in Alaska and this is the painting. And don't worry, just this paint. Just a little right here, little bushes here, little chipmunk here. And he's like feeding the chipmunk and stuff. And then I'm sitting here with my watercolors.
Is Bob Ross the only painter who's ever been on television, like walking people? He had a whole show, and we all know who he is. Like he's legit famous for painting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He managed to make something. Yeah.
It was like
He had
freestyle
a look,
painting.
he had an energy. He's
Yes,
like
yes. He was going off the head. He
was
never, like, it was never paint
Yeah.
by numbers.
never
He was
planned it.
literally doing it on the spot and walking you through his process.
Yeah.
And I think in a lot of ways, people are looking at you walking through your process.
Mhm.
And it's so, you know, Bob Ross, we had it right in front of us.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But with
Syndicated.
you and these interviews that you've been doing, like even from the questions Crystal asks to the things that you just bring up randomly, like as far as rapping is concerned and how that works, but your day-to-day process and your
Mhm.
more for me is your day-to-day mental process.
Right.
Yeah.
I've been handling the pandemic pretty well. I'm cool being stationary. I'm not really like, you know, a FOMO kind of guy. So me sitting still
Mhm.
and working is really not a big deal for me.
Yeah.
But the fact that I've never been purposefully sidelined. I've never had something
Right.
like come along and sideline me to the point where I couldn't do something. And
But
Right.
like your pandemic, basically.
Right.
right,
Right.
right.
Like
That's
when I
never
got shot,
happened
that was
before.
like, you know, my world was rocked, and that's like a pandemic. You know, that was
Yeah.
my
Out of
what
your
do you call
control.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But like other people are dealing with right now, they've never dealt. This is their you know, catastrophic, you know, kind of thing that's
Event.
happened
Yeah.
to them. Yeah. I mean, you know, so they're like,
Well, that
this is it.
Mhm.
right. The other difference is that I was actually like mentioning, I said, when kids grow up, like we're gonna tell them about, I go, no, it's not like the Hurricane Katrina. I'm from New Orleans, or partially from New Orleans.
Mhm.
Like that was it's an event that a lot of people remember, but it's specific to a location. This is a worldwide event. So it's
Yeah.
weird that the whole world has COVID-19 pandemic quarantine stories, right?
Yeah.
So I think it is different, like the whole world going through something, and we all go through it differently for ourselves. But like when you go through something that only you go through, I think there's a collective, all of us are in this together. We're all trying to figure it out. And so we can reach to each other for support. I think that it's very different when you go through something sort of on your own. Everyone else can't be in your shoes.
Mhm.
They can try to be there for you, but like it takes a different type of mental strength to have a unique experience. And you work with a bunch of people that have disabilities,
Right.
and you speak to them from experience, which helps them, because otherwise they feel like they're in it alone.
Exactly.
Because
You
we're
hit it
not,
right on the
none of
head.
us are in the pandemic alone. We're all
Right.
together. But
Right.
if you have an injury or a, you know, life-changing event or disability or whatever, I don't even know the terms, because disability, able-bodied, like how do
There's
you
so
describe it? Yeah.
there's not even, you know, even with the disability community, they
Hmm.
have disagreements on how to describe it. Some people go
Yeah.
person first language, so they're like, how do I do it? I call you a quad, or you know, or do I say Eric? I'm like, just say Eric person first. I go by person first language, but some people don't want that. They want to be known as the disability first, or you know. And then like there's
Okay.
businesses now which is called disabled business owners. There's actual accreditation, so like a disabled business owner, probably just like, you
Right.
know, any other, you know,
Right. Like a black owned or a female owned or a minority owned or those
yeah,
kind of things. Yeah.
yeah. So it's, but in, you know, some people don't like that either. So it's like,
Hmm.
you guys got to get it together so we can get some action going, you know, let's get the
Right.
narrative
What do you
going.
want to
What,
call us? Because we need to make some
right,
action happen.
right. And they'll talk about ableism, and there's like other stuff on top of ableism. And it's like, look, we have to come together so that we can have some common goals, you know, so that we can get forward, so we can move on, so we can have
Mhm.
representation. So when it comes to the table, when people are writing our story about a disabled person, it's got our input. You know, the
Mhm.
writer has a disability. The actors are not acting like they have a disability. They actually do, and they just act really good because they've been taking acting classes. It's just
Mhm.
they,
Right.
you
Right.
know, it's like don't. It's those are the things like I, you know, Damon always and I talk about stuff, and I tell him like sometimes I feel invisible, which I don't know
Mhm.
how because I'm as big as a smart car with the chair, you know. So
You take up
um,
space.
I'm like, yes. So I'm like, how? But you know, there's like a new, like say it's a new restaurant and everybody's excited. It's gonna bring jobs, and then you go there and you're like, there's stairs.
Nowhere
Like
for me to go.
how?
Yeah.
Like how? Or there's no curb cut, or where do we park at? Or like why did you not plan this
You
and
didn't
go
think of
out to your
me. Yeah.
community and not just think of me? But you don't have
I
menus
did.
that are in braille, or like how do you handle someone that's blind? You don't have closed
Right.
caption for a person that's deaf. You
Mm.
have, the noise level for a person that's autism. 'Cause, like all these things, they are part of your community. There's
Mhm.
diversity and then there's inclusion. Inclusion
Mhm.
used to be like when that word was thrown around, we were like, yeah, disability is included. But man, I was like, forget that. I want to belong. I want to belong. And belonging means that if you don't see me, you're gonna be like, where's Eric? Or where? And so
Right.
that's the thing. We want to, it's belonging. I don't want it to be included. I want to belong. I
Right.
want to belong at the table and belong with the voice. Have a voice right there
Wow.
with everybody else.
That's
And
deep.
not, yeah. So it's just,
As a kid,
it,
I think that was my biggest thing, is wanting to be included, not just included, but like I wanted people to want me there. Not just like, okay,
yeah.
little Crystal can come,
If all of us
but
were at
like
a
they want,
party right
yeah.
now, if I had a party and you two were supposed to show up and you didn't show up. Now,
Mhm.
if I included you, or that means that I just invited you to, whatever, whatever.
They can come.
But if you
Yeah.
belonged, if I felt you belonged, I valued you, then I'm gonna be like, yo, where they at? Like, have you talked to
Make
them?
sure,
Are
yeah.
they all right?
Yeah.
Can
Right,
someone
right,
check on them? Because you
right.
belong. You belonged at there, and you were missed
Wow.
that you weren't there.
Aw.
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear. You know what, your concerns and what you're expressing right now as far as inclusion, belonging. The one that hit me the hardest was the community not agreeing on terms. I'm starting to think all communities go through that. The Black community we definitely have our back and
Feminism,
forth.
black, yeah, all sorts of.
The women have theirs, men have theirs, different ethnic
Mhm.
groups have theirs. Like I'm starting to think it's not just. I'm starting to think that may be more common than we all think. Some people want to
Mhm.
go this
Yeah.
way. There's dissenters. Some folks, listen, call me by my name. No, I want to be known by my disability first. Hey, man, that's a little degrading. Like, why would you do that? You're a person before
Right,
you're a disability. No, screw that,
right.
because I want people to recognize my disability. I'm sick of that. And
Mhm.
we have the exact same thing on our side. Hey,
Mhm.
I'm a Black man. No, you're an African American. No, but I'm just an American. I'm not African. I've never been to Africa.
Right.
Yeah, but blah
Every
blah
man
blah
should get
blah
this.
blah blah blah
Every,
blah blah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't put my color first, because I'm, yeah.
Yeah, right. I
Ugh,
think I think I think that might be it's just wild to
human.
hear you say it, because
Mhm.
I didn't
Yeah.
realize until just now that that your community was handling the exact same things
Yeah.
that we are.
Oh
I
yeah, and you'll get called out too. They'll be like, "Oh, that's just able to," and you're like, "No, like this is just how it's
no.
gonna be." Like that's why I said though, even if we disagree on all that, at least we can come up with our goals.
Hmm.
Right.
Our goal, like we can all agree that we need employment. We can all agree that there should be representation to open up a business. We can all agree
Mhm.
that we should be let in the House or Senate.
Hmm.
Being able to have a
Mhm.
voice there.
Hmm. Hmm.
We can all
Mhm.
agree that education is important for us, whether it's
Mhm.
online or in person, that we
Right.
should be able to learn.
Hmm.
We can
Right.
agree with that. Transportation, we should be able to freely travel,
Hmm.
Mhm.
without the barriers. We can agree on these things. So,
Yeah.
those
So
are
how do we go
like,
about that? Yeah.
so we unify by our goals and not by, whatever, we can
Not by what
still,
divides us.
yeah,
Right.
Hmm.
Find the similar things. I got a
yeah.
question.
Mhm,
Um, Speaking of everyone deserves, we talk about the word deserve
mhm,
often and plenty on the show, and like there's deserve, earn. We always talk about karma, like have the kind of day you deserve. Whether if you're a
That's one
crappy
of mine.
person, that's one of his favorite things. Um, I feel like everyone deserves some sort of um, love in their life, whether it's just love from a family, from your parents should love you. They should, and
mhm.
there's a lot of things shoulda, coulda, woulda. What How do you feel about relationships and romance and that type of thing? With, I mean, it sounds like a really able-bodied ableism question, like, so how do you date? But I'm curious
Oh,
how that's been
But
for
we
you.
ask everybody that. Like
Right.
everybody who comes
So
in,
it
we've
is a
asked
fair
Dame,
question.
we asked, like, we heard Dame and he described what his woman looks like. We have porn stars and we asked them what their relationships are like. Everybody gets that question.
Yeah.
So this is you being not
Awesome.
only included, but you're definitely
Curious.
belonging.
I'm also
That's
yeah,
right.
this is you
All right.
belonging
I'm
because we're
belonging.
asking you the exact same
Yeah.
thing we ask everybody.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
dating's interesting because you're gonna have some people that are like, oh, I can do everything, like I can, like they're like the superhero or something like that complex. And then
Okay.
also it's interesting, like, so like say like you go on a date or you're seeing someone or something like that, and they come to the house. Now you've been like seeing, that's like your safe ground area. You're not out in the world yet. And it's like, yo, we have to go places to see if we're even like good for each other. Like we could be toxic out in the world,
Right.
So
Instead of in the bubble of home.
yeah,
It's
you create
different.
your
Yeah.
own bubble. This other thing is, now you say like I'm dating someone, then other people might go, well, I hope she doesn't hurt them, or and like, wait a minute, hold up. Then you have 3 divorces. Like, what do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna break,
Right.
allow me to have makeups and breakups so that I can grow. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You can't, don't fear that stuff and don't think that I'm fragile.
Right.
I understand everything. Um,
Clearly
and
have a
then
good head on your shoulders.
I'm not sure
yeah,
anybody can see what you've gone through and think that you're fragile. You got to be one of the
Right.
toughest
yeah,
dudes I've ever met, like in existence.
yeah. Well,
Facts.
when it comes to love and stuff, you know, it's a whole different thing because
Well, yes, every man
they're
can be
like,
weak
oh,
when it comes to
they're
right.
taking advantage of that person, or it's like,
Right.
okay, then it's like, okay, so like what do you do? Can you have kids? You're like, yeah, you can have kids. You can have kids naturally, or you can go to the doctor and get it done.
Mm-hmm.
So all
Right.
that stuff is all still good. I mean, with spinal cord, I mean, there's all different ways of doing things, and you can
Right.
still, yeah. My urologist said, be careful of your swimmers because you're fertile. So that's what he said. I was like, okay.
Straight from the doctor's mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So I
So do
think
you
it
want?
would be, yeah, it would be awesome. I guess that's your next question. Uh, would be have a family and some kids. But
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
and who knows? Maybe 2021. That's what it's all about. It's
So
like, yeah,
somebody said, I saw a meme and it was like, please nobody call 2021 as their year. Just walk in quietly and don't touch anything.
I saw that.
Like, tiptoe in and let's see if this is for us.
Yeah,
But
So
I'm
yeah,
not
I
sure
mean,
if I'm ready to date 2021 yet. I'm still kind of this last relationship. I got a restraining order on the old one. I don't know if I'm ready to. I got a restraining order on 2020. I'm peeking out the windows to make sure she's not around. I'm not sure I want to. I'm not ready to date just yet. I'm
I've
coming, but
had
I don't know if I'm ready to date. I can't commit.
I've had some wild ones. I've had some good ones, and I've had some wild ones, and I've had some. One time we went to the restaurant and like she was looking at everybody, like she thought everybody was staring, which they may be. And she was just like, "Why is everybody staring? What's going on?" I'm like, "Uh-oh," you know what I'm saying? Like this
Oh
isn't
she
good.
can't handle this.
This ain't happening. Like, yeah, this is not a good thing right now. Or you have the other person that will be like, "Don't think about your disability. Like, don't talk about that." And I'm like, if
It's a large part
you
of your
try to
life.
like, take me out of the bed and you just say, just stand up, I'm dropping to the ground. So no, I have to think of like, you have to think about those things. It's called
Oh,
preparation,
Mhm.
right. Well, that's like
So
people that interracial dating or something. They're like, I don't see color. Let's just walk around. Like, it exists. Some people will you don't have to like
yeah,
live out of that. Like the whole relationship is, let's talk about you being white, or let's talk about you being disabled. Let's talk about you being like, it exists though. You can't,
Mhm.
completely ignore. But
and I think like through my year, like maturity level, I'm 43 now. In my 20s, I was
Mhm.
wild. Like, yeah, go to the clubs, go out the dance floor, see what's happening. Girls back at
Mhm.
the apartment. It's looking crazy here. Who's here? I don't even know what's going on. And then you get, you start to your 30s, and then like when you start to like, okay, then the same girls that were there, they start getting like actual settling down, You know what I'm saying? They're getting married, and then you get to the 40s, and you're like, man, you know, like what? If you could get me some food, like give me a late night foodie call, I'm good with that right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me get that. You bring
Late
me
night
over
foodie.
some late night foodie calls, some tacos or something, and you know, like, yeah,
I
let's
knew
do that.
tacos were gonna make a comeback. I knew tacos were coming back around. As soon as you said food,
Yeah,
I was just waiting.
right. I'm
It's
actually
coming.
in Mexico right now. And yesterday
Oh,
was Tuesday, and I failed. I just realized that I did not have tacos yesterday.
did
It's
you go out
crazy.
there and
On
say,
Tuesday in Mexico.
you should have went out there next time if you're there, or if you're still there, just come out there and say, yeah, let's talk about Tuesday. I want to talk about
Let's
Tuesday.
taco.
Talk
Oh,
about
listen,
Tuesday.
the puns
I
are
had to
coming.
throw it in there. You know
You
what part was
did.
coming. I
I
had to
love
have a pun.
puns.
I was kind of hoping you just let that go by. I was hoping
It
the
wasn't
puns would
happening.
pop up. Yeah, apparently
It
not.
wasn't
No.
happening.
That's what I get. That's my fault.
So so yeah, the definitely the
Yeah.
future is you know, I having a family.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Building
100%.
a
I have two.
business. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have two
What?
stepbrothers, and they
Okay.
both have wives, and they all have kids now. On my stepdad's side, you know, like that's his kids, and then on my dad's side with my stepmom, she has what I have a sister because my dad and my stepmom, they had a child when I was in high school. So that's my sister Karina. And then but my stepmom, she already had three other kids, so and they're older.
Oh.
So two boys and one girl, and one's deaf too. So like that's how I learned sign language early age. Like
Oh.
at sixth grade, I learned sign language because
Oh,
my
wow. So
parents
you
got
already
divorced
was.
when I was two.
Okay. Huh.
So
Do you see yourself staying in Michigan? Do you love Flint? Is that
yeah,
your
I think
home
it's
base where you plan on staying?
you know it's something about Flint that you built all these relationships and you built all like everything you built or you know with networking and everybody around it.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course when you go out to LA, you're like, whoa, like you know, and then you come back, you're like, whoa, was this building destroyed like this? Like did a bomb hit this or something? You know, like I mean, my block alone, I got like what? It's about from one street to the other street, it's about a football or so, you know, football field, you know, a
Mm-hmm.
distance, and like 80% of the homes are all boarded up and blighted. So, you know, I mean, it's like,
Wow.
it's, you know, like tomorrow night, you know, tomorrow night's New Year's night, New Year's Eve.
That's crazy.
It's going to be like,
Yeah.
like it's going to be like a war zone out there because they're going to be firing off guns. They're going to be like, no, mine's louder. Yours is louder. No, mine's louder. So I'm just waiting
Oh
for
my
that
gosh.
tomorrow night. But
I
you
thought
know,
fireworks was enough. That's me.
no, they lots of. I mean, guns, you know, go off. I've been on broadcast. I'm like, and they're like, I'm like, no, it's just somebody shooting, and they're like, what? I'm like, that's my mind frame. I know that should not be like that. It should be like, somebody's, you know, but it's
Right.
not. I'm just like, yeah, it's just somebody's firing off some shots or something. You know, it's just like
Huh.
let's keep on moving on. That's kind of
But
like
you're
the
a D
way it
boy.
is.
But you're a D
Yeah,
boy. You're
yeah. It's like
you can handle it.
whatever. You know, it's what it is.
That's also in the
Somebody see it, you
backdrop of
know.
New York. They don't, I
Yeah.
don't really flinch when I
Sirens.
hear. Listen, I'd rather you fire in the air than any place
Mm,
else.
Yeah.
I'd rather
true.
you point the gun straight up in the air and shoot that way
I have
than at somebody else specifically. I'd rather that.
I got
So
a
if that's what we get on New
question.
Year's, I'm cool with it.
I got a quick question. I was raised very like pacifist, like super like I'm Quaker, turn the other cheek, no violence, no. And I've struggled with that because I think that you have to defend yourself on some level too, and Second Amendment and all these type of things. But I said recently, I said I would rather know how to shoot a gun properly
Mhm.
if in the off chance I needed to protect myself or someone. I don't want to be the one haphazardly like spraying bullets, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But I'm not comfortable with firearms. Like I'm scared of the weight and the power of a gun. How do you
Yeah.
feel about guns, gun violence, gun rights because of your injury and just in general, like what you see in the world? I'm curious.
I'm not against it. So I mean, like, if someone has to protect themselves, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like, it's not that the gun came and jumped out and did something. It's the person that was behind it. you know, they
Right.
used it. I mean, they could have thrown a knife. They could have, you know, hit me with
Right.
a rock, a slingshot,
Right. Their
a
goal was to hurt you
slingshot and a rock.
regardless of the
You know, so
right.
you know what I mean. So um, it is interesting though that it does have this kind of force of a brand of power. You know, that when you put it in your hand, you're like, it's like a sword or something. You know, it is
Right.
kind of very.
It's designed to hurt. It's not designed to just look pretty. It's designed to do damage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the a gun is a gun,
So
like he's saying.
it's
I
a
agree
tool.
with
Yeah.
Chris. It's only as destructive or effective or protective as the person who's holding it. I compare
Right.
guns to lawyers all the time. If one person has one, everyone needs one, damn near, because you don't know the intention of the other guy. In the right hands,
Right.
it can protect you, it can go hunting, it can feed you. In the wrong hands, it's, you know, Columbine or like Eric's situation, like in the
Yeah.
wrong hands. So it's all about who's doing what with
Right.
it. But at the end of the
Yeah,
day,
and
it's
like
just a tool.
yeah, and like you said, you know, like you would like to learn, or you knew how to fire one. You
Right.
know, you
It's
took
a
the time
skill. Like I think.
to properly handle it, which that should be everything in life. You know,
Right. Right.
you know, we take the time to properly handle things in life. You know, any tool, you know, a vehicle,
Right.
you know.
Mhm.
So yeah, a
Right.
lot of times people like they'll try to get me to like rallies and stuff like, you know, give away your guns, and I'm like, wait, how did you even? Why do you think I'm even about that? Like
Mhm.
I feel
Interesting.
that
Yeah.
everybody should like be able to you should be able to protect yourself whatever the person brings to you. So if that person brings a gun to the table, you should be able to protect yourself with a gun. If it's a
Right.
knife, then a knife. If it's a missile, it's a missile. Whatever
Well,
it
and
is,
if
like
you
you should.
and people that are willing to hand them over aren't the ones that are going to end up hurting you. Like people, you're not going to convince the guys that want to do harm with it to hand it over. So the people that do hand it over just makes you a sitting duck to an extent. That's
Exactly.
kind
I
of
mean,
but I
no,
struggle
that's
with it for
correct.
sure.
That's
Yeah.
correct. I mean, what you think the person's going to be sitting at home? I'm like, oh, you know what? Buyback gun program. You know, there's like 5 bodies on this. It's time to go. You know, let's hand it over. You know, that's what they. You know,
Right.
why would they do right unless they
Right.
had like an epiphany or something like that? Like
Right.
I'm
Right.
walking away from it. So that's the only situation would be like
Right.
I'm done. You know,
Right.
Well,
I'm done.
Well, and in that case, when you just throw in the river or bury, I don't know. I don't know what I would do.
no, you turn it in and get some money for it. And with that said, Eric, I got to tell you, this has probably been, I know this is a milestone interview for you specifically because of the goal you set, but we didn't have this goal in mind when we started this show, but this has definitely been an eye-opening
Yeah.
experience and a milestone style interview for me,
For us. Yeah.
definitely, and for the show completely. Bro, I want to thank you for giving us the time. I want to thank you for requesting us for the interview. I want to thank you
Thank you.
for opening up and sharing your life and sharing your story with all of our listeners. Please let people know where they can go find you so they can get more of this same kind of inspiration.
I would Google Eric Patrick Thomas for sure. You'll see
Mhm.
like all the social media and videos, and you'll see me do donuts on the set of Shark Tank. That was awesome.
Yes.
Yeah,
Skirt.
yeah.
That's
And then
awesome.
my social media is Eric Patrick Thomas for Instagram and Facebook, except Twitter is Eric P. Thomas. You
Mhm.
know, and then the website's inspireshirt.com.
Okay.
Inspireshirt.com. And that's where they can pick up the Inspire stuff. We have a license, Amazon license our designs through the Amazon merch by
Mhm.
Amazon. So I think that's amazon.com/inspire shirt. You know,
That's
but
dope.
you know,
Always a friend
it,
of Fubu.
yeah, oh yeah, I had to.
He
I
got the
know. I
Fubu
was
and
like,
the Inspire on. I was like,
I had to
yes.
do that. I was like, how could I not do this interview without
You know,
putting representing Fubu? You know,
yes.
I'm hopping off
Well,
of
thank
this.
you.
Where it's this interview was over, I'm hopping off of this. I'm going straight to the website and I'm looking for an Inspire hoodie and I'm trying to get that ASAP.
Yeah.
awesome, man.
Brother, it's been great talking to you. Can't
Thank you
wait
so
to
And
much for
have you
follow
having
me
back
me.
on
on.
social media too. You
Yeah,
know,
no,
like
no, no.
Oh,
talk about
absolutely.
stuff.
We
We're
got
doing
both of
all of the
us.
above. Yeah, we're gonna go do all of the above. So, homie, thank you so much for joining us. In the
Yeah.
meantime, in between time, I'm your man, Mr. Mac.
And I'm Crystal Levin.
This has been the M&M show, aka the
Okay.
Show, may you live as long as you want and never want as long as you live. Do us all a favor. Go get laid. Peace.
Whoop, whoop.